Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Step Chat here from the Fortress of Solitude out of Seattle, Washington. My hair is sticking up all over the place. Nothing I can do about it. Good to see you. How y'all doing? Thank y'all for being here. For those of you that I've not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Stephen Jones. I am the executive director of Float and of Aloft and Fulcrum and some other stuff like that. And we're good to have you. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I can't do it. I forgot to do it. I forgot to clean my camera lens, and I do believe that's better. Okay, there we go. So I apologize for that. There you go. Pulled the curtain up. There we go. Let's see here. Miss Stephanie, good to see you. Sherry, good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. Flotationing along. Very funny. Ha, ha, ha. It'll be here in less than a month. It'll be here in less than a month. So there we go. Mr. Aragoni, good to see you as well. Thank you very much for being here. One of our fabulous crew members coming to Float again, Greg Aragoni. Good to have you, sir. And by the way, again, on behalf of everybody at Float, we just want to recognize the passing of your father. And I was going to mention it last week, but of course, me being out of town. For those of you that didn't know, our own Greg Aragoni, his father passed away just recently. So we wanted to express our deep sympathies to Greg and to his family, and know that we love you and we're with you. Good to see everybody. Joette, thank you for being here. Angela, good to see you as well. Thank you. Clearly, my life has returned to normal. For those of you that were with me last week, here on the show, it was a little bit more bedlamy than normal. I was actually enjoying myself a little bit in Las Vegas, which is nice. I had if you were with me last week, you already know. But we had a small pool party. We rented a cabana at the hotel I was staying at, and I invited the locals in the area to show up. And I was very happy that Jeremy Johnson and his lovely wife Lauren showed up, and Tony Cooper showed up, and Jenny West showed up. It was really great. And so we all hung out for a little bit, and then we actually. I met a lovely young lady at the pool, and she joined us for dinner that night, and everything was great. And there you go. So, yeah, it was a really nice time. Very happy to, but I'm happy to be back. It was. Don't get me wrong. I was very, very. I desperately needed to unplug a little bit. I think I mentioned this before a couple weeks ago that I was absolutely at a point where I was getting frazzled, and again, the great thing about it for me was the moment I booked that trip, even though it was like Reno and Vegas both, once I booked that trip, at that moment, it was like a huge weight was lifted off me just from that point on. Like I felt like, okay, now there's light at the end of the tunnel. So it was really nice to get out of town for a while. It was nice to hang out and do nothing for a bit. Yeah, it was fun. It's amazing how much they charge for drinks at a hotel, though. Ironically enough, the choice of cocktail that our pool party was enjoying was, I believe, a pink lemonade is what they called it. And ironically enough, was $37 a piece. Yeah, I didn't have any problem hitting our minimum food requirement that day with the pool, with the cabana. So there you go. If you rent a cabana at the pool, along with it, there's a required there's a minimum food and beverage you have to spend in addition to the cabana rental. So it's not just, you're not just paying for the cabana, you have to get more. So it ends up being a more costly undertaking. But the good news is that because it was a float expense, I can't write the trip off. I could write the Reno part of the trip off, and I can write that element of my Vegas trip off, but that's about it. So it wasn't too bad. Like I said, I could write it off. So it was nice, but it was really nice getting to hang back and visit with everybody. And I have not experienced that kind of temperature in a very long time, and I am clearly no longer used to it. Living here in Seattle now, when it's 80 degrees outside, I find myself getting overheated, which is very odd. Needless to say, when it was 110 in Las Vegas, yeah, that was a thing. That was a lot for me. Yes. Yes, Christina. $37 for one drink. Yes. And I know that several people had multiple versions of that same drink. So there you go. But it is what it is. So there you go. I feel kind of silly because I dropped at one. So the funny part of the story is I didn't know what time everybody was going to get there. And to be honest, I didn't know if anybody was even going to come. I really didn't. I mean, like people were very non-committal. I had seen Tony Cooper the night before, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I can go or not. If I can, I'll be there. If I can't, I hope you understand." Jenny West was like, "Well, that sounds like fun. Maybe I can come after my jobs are done." Hello, Becky. Good to see you. And Jessica, good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. And Lauren and Jeremy, I was pretty sure they were going to come, but they said like they'd be there like around 11 or whatever. And so I told everybody that I would be at the cabana at 10 o'clock, and we'd have the cabana from 10 o'clock until the pool closed at 6. And it was so funny because I sat there for well over 3 hours solo. And this waitress kept coming up to me, this cocktail waitress at the pool. And at one point, it was like, you could just see it in her face. She's like, you could just see she like felt sorry for me. And I'm like, I said, I said, no, you can't. I said, look, if they get here, they get here. If they don't, they don't. This is something I sprung on everybody. It wasn't something that was scheduled and planned. It was a spontaneous kind of a thing. So there you go. Pack the slushy machine. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should ask Ali Kahan about that. You can't do that at hotels. They don't like that very much. Fulcrum 2023, Ali Kahan. Ali has developed quite a reputation for herself as being apparently quite a margarita maker. And I guess she showed up in the lobby of the hotel at Fulcrum with a cooler and cups and was making margaritas and handing them out. And the hotel within seconds was like, excuse me, no. So there you go. So yeah, there's that. But it was, like I said, I had a really good time. It was really nice. I was a little, I will admit, I was a little frazzled when I first got there. I didn't have the best night the first night I was there, but things got better the second day. And then by the time everybody showed up on Sunday, it was great. And then it was time for me just to go home. So there you go. I would have liked to have stayed for at least another full day. But the work schedule just didn't allow it. I had to be back Tuesday morning for installs. So there's that, but yeah. But we do have a lot of stuff to cover tonight. We have a lot of updates for you, in general. And I do mean a little bit across the board. We have new sponsors tonight. We have new vendors tonight. We have changes to existing sponsorships. We have new sponsorships to talk about. So there we go. Mr. Whitehead, good to see you. Our head of security, sir. Good to see you there. Dominique, a pleasure as always. Good to see you. And to your husband, I'm sure he's there with you. Now let's say hello. So yeah, let's get right to it. We've got some stuff to talk about here. So let's hope everything works right. Because again, we were getting a little bit of interesting stuff earlier. So let's check my little side thing here to make sure everything's working properly. Still waiting. There's that. Okay, it looks like everything's good to go so far. Yay, we're good. Okay, perfect. Okay, so welcome everybody. Welcome to another edition of Step Chat with yours truly. We host this show every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. This is a very busy week here in the Floativerse, so I'd like to take a couple minutes to go over the important stuff you need to know, because this week there is a lot of stuff actually happening. First of all, tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., if you are one of our Aloft streaming members, you will officially get your email for your login for Tuesday's class. our next Aloft class, I know we just had one, but remember that was supposed to be in July. The August class is this Tuesday, and you're going to get your login information tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. So in just under 12 hours, folks, if you are a member of Aloft Streaming, you will receive your official email for your information to log in the next day. Ever since we switched to sending out the login information on Mondays, we don't have people crying anymore and screaming at me 5 seconds after the class has started, I can't find my login info. So I love it. Love it. Thank you all very much. Love, love, love it. And remember, if you don't see it at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Pacific time, make sure you are checking your spam, junk, bulk, or promotions folder. If you're on Gmail, please check your promotions folder because that's where a lot of the Float and Aloft emails end up. And then please mark it as not junk, not spam, not bulk, not promotions. Check the time. If it's 6 a.m. my time and it's 8 o'clock, if it's just after 8 o'clock where you are now, then look at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning your time. Check for floatconvention.com because that's what we said. Don't check for Steve. Don't search for Steve. Everybody types in Steve for some reason. Type in floatconvention.com. Okay, that's the biggest thing. And we'll go from there. Malika, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, and if that wasn't enough for you, tomorrow night, mañana, is our rescheduled episode of La Familia Float with Pia Guadalupe, or should I say con Pia Guadalupe. That'll be taking place tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. The show will be simulcast both on Facebook and on Float, or Facebook and on Instagram. And it'll be hosted, or Pia will be joined by one of our instructors coming to Float, Arturo Castro, teaching on behalf of Gemar. So we'll be seeing him tomorrow night as part of our class, or as part of our, excuse me. So we'll be seeing him tomorrow night as part of our live broadcast. Keep in mind, this show is, as you can guess by the name, broadcast in Spanish. So I apologize if you're not able to follow everything, but I'm sure Arturo will be talking about his classes coming up at Float, as well as other stuff that Pia and he will be chatting about. Very excited about that. Looking forward to it. Please consider joining us. That will be broadcast again tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I will be handling the broadcast on Facebook, so it'll show up as if I'm the one streaming it. And on Instagram, you're going to want to follow Pia's Instagram, which I believe is Pia CBA. So there we go. Sandy Presley, one of our fabulous crew members coming to Float. Good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Then on Tuesday, as we've already talked or already alluded to, the Aloft streaming class, Getting Returns on Your Reels with Jesse Marclaro. That is going to be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. So once again, if you are a member of Aloft, you don't have to do anything because your invitation is being sent to you tomorrow morning. If you are not a member of Aloft, you have two options. You can either join Aloft. Aloft has options at $80 for 6 months or $120 for the year. You get free access to all of our virtual classes as well as the entire library of recorded content up until this point. There are over 150 videos, classes, and podcast episodes available to you as a member of Aloft. But let's say you don't want to join Aloft. Let's say you're the non-committal type and you're like, hey, I just want to take this class. No problem. Go to the Orange Store, which is floatconvention.com/orange store. That's orange like the color, store like the retail. And sign up for just $25. You will receive a link to the class when the class goes live. And when the class is done, you will also receive a digital download of the class by signing up at $25. If you're an Aloft member, you don't need the download because you already get unlimited streaming access to the class as many times as you ever want to watch it. So there's that. So we're excited to have Jesse joining us, and we're looking forward to that class. By the way, Stacy Chase, I did not forget about you. I literally finished updating the stuff about 20 minutes before I went live. So there's that. So I didn't want you to think you'd been forgotten about. Okay. Then on Tuesday, our good old staple, Kicking Back with Lisa Mack, our virtual happy hour, Just one problem. Lisa is not going to be available. Lisa is not going to be available Tuesday night. And then she reached out to me and said, Steve, are you going to be available to host? And I said, no, I'm not. I'm conducting a virtual meeting Tuesday night. We got a float meeting I got to deal with. So no, we can't do it. And then she reached out to Teresa. She said, Teresa, can you cover for me? Teresa said, no, I can't. I got to be on this stupid meeting with Steve tomorrow night. To be fair, Lisa would have been there too, but Lisa is working because she was supposed to be on Kick It Back with Lisa Mack. And then she was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, who do I get to cover for me? And then this idea of brilliance popped into her head. It'll be Tuesdays with Tony this coming Tuesday night here on the Float Network. So good old Tony Cooper will be covering for Lisa McIntyre this coming Tuesday. So this Tuesday won't be Kicking Back with Lisa Mack. It won't even be Kicking Back without Lisa Mack. It'll be Tuesdays with Tony this coming Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. The original host of the show, Tony Cooper, will be stepping in to fill the void while Lisa is off the show. So for the night, just for the night. So there we go. And then don't feel too bad though, folks, because the next day on Wednesday, you'll get Lisa back. Working Wonders is this coming Wednesday night, our next episode of Working Wonders. That's going to be Wednesday, August 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. Join Crystal, Lisa, Debbie, and Ronnie as this time around they go over apparently work attire. I guess they're going to be all fashionable this week, talking about how they present themselves at jobs and meeting with clients and that kind of thing. So that is going to be going on this coming Wednesday night. That will also be broadcast right here on the Float Facebook page. So make sure you tune in and join the Ladies of Float this coming Wednesday. Yay. Very exciting stuff. Okay. I was in Reno last week. Myself and Mr. Carl Woody. We were there going over what I believe to be the final walkthrough before the convention. I really don't think I need to go again. I think I've pretty much got this place memorized like the back of my hand now. And so far, everybody who has attended the venue, everybody who's been to the venue so far has all said the same thing. They love it. They've all said the same thing. They said they love it. They love the layout. They love how everything is pretty much compact this time around. Even though it's much bigger, it's still compact. It's still in the same area of the building. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Lots and lots of good stuff. Nothing but good things going on. Very excited about this event. And I think you will be too. And Carl, same thing. When you walk in the front door, you walk into the casino portion of the building, right? And then you turn right to go to the registration desk. And I even said to Carl, I said, see, you can smell cigarette smoke, but it's not overpowering. And he's like, no, it's not. He goes, you can smell it, but it's not overpowering. But when you get to the convention space, he's like, yeah, you would never know that 5 minutes ago we were down there. He's like, you can't tell at all. Total different. So for those of you that are worried about that, you can ask Carl. He's another witness to the whole thing. They do a tremendous job of keeping the recreational tobacco use at the other end of the building. So very excited about that. And again, I'm someone who's very sensitive to that kind of smell stuff, and I don't really notice it that much when I'm down there. So, but in the convention space, there's nothing to even notice at all. But we have a lot of stuff that's happening now that we need to talk about. So with that being said, let's get to it. The first thing I want to share with everybody is that we are now accepting bonus class propositions, proposals, whatever you want to call them, for the upcoming convention. So I do want to remind everybody how a bonus class works. Bonus classes are only for those individuals who are registered to attend the convention. So if you are coming to the convention as just a general attendee, right? You paid your registration fee, you're coming to float, but you want the opportunity to maybe teach a class, get in front of people, right? Maybe get noticed by a sponsor, that kind of thing. This is your opportunity. We have as many as 14 spots available. And historically, it's one class, one person. So in other words, if you have an idea that you want to teach a bonus class, you need to get it to me as soon as possible. I haven't officially decided yet when the deadline is, but we are launching. Well, I kind of do. We're going to be announcing the bonus class instructors the week of September 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, I believe, because the flotation passes go on sale on the 12th. So I guess we'll need to get these in sooner than later. I do know that we have one bit of a complication. We do have one sponsor that actually sponsored a bonus class already, and yet they have yet to present their teacher. So we don't know who that's going to be yet. So technically we have 13 spots left, but there you go. It is important to understand how this works. Bonus class instructors are not entitled to the same benefits that general class instructors are, that foundational class instructors are, that master class instructors are. There is no reimbursement for travel. There is no reimbursement for hotel. There is no salary. There is no direct salary involved with the class. You get 50% of the door. Okay. So what that means is if we sell tickets to your class, which we do, you will receive half of the money that comes in. That'll be your pay for teaching the class. Like I said, very few people have ever gotten rich doing this. And I'm not going to lie to you. What I tell people is this is a great way to get some of your expenses covered at float. It is. It's a great way to do it. You could make enough money off the class to pay for your hotel. You could make enough money off the class to pay for your airfare or your registration, or it could just cover the cost of your food while you're there. It really depends on the number of students who actually enroll in your class. But again, and we've had some classes where I've had 70, 80 people sign up. We've had some classes where 3 people signed up. So that's why it's very important for you to pick the subject that you think is the strongest that you want to pitch for this. I will say that there is already one person that I have confirmed a bonus class for. I'm not going to say who it is. This individual narrowly missed. Actually, I take that back. There are 2 people. There are 2 people that I have promised bonus classes to. The first one was literally a secondary choice for 3 different manufacturers, and it just didn't work out. They just didn't get tapped in the end. So I told this person that I'm giving you a bonus class for sure because you were in that much demand by all these teachers, by these sponsors. The other one is, in my opinion, a huge disappointment that they were not picked up by a sponsor. I can't go into the reasons why. I'll explain later. Hopefully I'll be able to explain, but like I said, I've promised them a spot at the class. So there you go. Why are you having so many bonus classes? There is no guarantee that we're going to have 14 bonus classes. I have enough spots for as many as 14. Keep in mind that's 7 in one session and 7 in another. It's not 14 at the same time. And for those of you that are thinking to yourselves, wow, that's a lot. No, it isn't, because this year there are 2 sessions afloat that will have literally 11 class opportunities at one time. So 7 will be a break, actually. So there you go. We try to offer as many of these classes as possible because, number one, it adds to the bravado, I guess, afloat, you could say. It adds to the roster, so to speak. It adds to, look at all these teachers coming to float kind of thing. Like I said, it's also an opportunity for people who didn't get an opportunity to say, I'm teaching at this event. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Again, it's an opportunity for people to get in front of sponsors for the first time in a classroom setting, right? And It's a way for them to do it without selling their soul to somebody. Like, look, I'll teach for free. Just let me do it so I can teach. Because how many people take advantage of that nowadays? So at the end of the day, this way they get something. So yeah, there's that. Um, Also, the other benefit, by the way, of being a bonus class instructor at Float is because you are not considered a formal instructor, you still have the ability to compete. You're still allowed to enter any of the design competitions and things like that because you're not considered a formal instructor. You're a bonus class instructor. And you will still have the same opportunities. You'll have the same space available to you to prep in. You'll have equipment that you can use. More than likely there'll be a sponsor that's going to jump on board and say, we'll give you product or whatever. Unless of course your class gets sponsored, and that's even better. So there's that kind of thing. So yeah, but keep in mind, if we only end up with 6 people that apply to teach bonus classes, then we'll only have 3 and 3. I just have the room to have 7 and 7. So hopefully that answered your question. Stacy Chase, I love teaching a bonus class. Yeah, the bonus classes are great. They are 90-minute classes, right? So it's a standard class session, and they're only taught once. That is the kicker. Now, to be fair, if we only have, all right, let's go back to my other scenario. Let's say we've only got 6 instructors, right? Theoretically, we could allow those teachers then, if they want to go back to back, we could do that. It just depends on the classroom space. But if I end up with 9 classes, then we can't do it because it's not fair to give some of them the opportunity to go back to back and not everybody. So if we have 7 or fewer teachers, we could theoretically, each bonus class could be offered twice. So, by the way, that is something too. I don't know, for those of you that have not looked at the schedule yet or not, I don't know if you've paid attention. Normally at Float, we have done in the past, we've had classes at like 8 and 10 o'clock, and they're 90-minute classes. So there's a 30-minute class, a 30-minute break in between. This year, it's a full hour. So this year we've gone like 8 o'clock to 9:30 and then 10:30 to noon. We've done that because people insisted that they needed more time in between classes. Teachers wanted more time to kind of be able to address questions with people and then have a few minutes to themselves before they got to start it all over again. That seemed fair. The AV team expressed the fact that they could possibly use that kind of a thing too for, rest. And that's the other thing that people have commented on. During those classroom breaks, the restrooms get packed. And sometimes, you have to wait a lot longer to go use the restroom. So this way you don't. And the great thing about it is too, in the afternoons, it's actually, you'll have time to run into the vendor showcase if you want to in between classes. So that's a good thing. So yeah, there you go. To be fair, I'm probably going to create a Google form and put it and have the web guys update the website, and that's where you'll go. But I haven't done it yet. So for now, if you're interested, just reach out to me directly. By this time next week, we'll have a form online that you'll be able to fill out. Okay. Let's talk about sponsorships, folks. We have got some new sponsors to talk about. And one of them, I've only got one graphic to talk about, but you'll understand why in just a moment. But there we go. If you recall correctly, at Float this year, in the past, we've had multiple types of competitions, right? We have Designer of the Year competitions, which are timed, and we have deadline competitions, which are not part of the Designer of the Year competition, but they are basically based on a deadline. So you can work on something for days if you want to. It just has to be turned in by a specific time. Well, I'm thrilled to share with you that one of our deadline competitions, we already had one that was sponsored by our friends at High Float. They sponsored the delivery competition. However, we have another deadline competition that's now formally been sponsored, and that is the hanging decor competition presented by our friends at Click Click. So once again, the hanging decor competition will be taking place on Sunday, January 25th with a 3 p.m. deadline. So more than likely what will happen is, to be fair, I just kind of sprung this on the competition team. So I do want to go on record that the time of this competition may change. Okay. It is subject to review because the problem is while this is going on, there is another competition actually taking place at the same time as this deadline. And we may not be able to work that out. When I created the meme, I basically just copied the timeline from the last convention. And then I realized, oh crap, the centerpiece competition is going on during this deadline. So we're going to probably look at that and see what's going on as far as the timing goes. So yeah, but hanging decor competition, at least for now, is tentatively scheduled for a Sunday deadline of January 25th. And again, presented by our friends at Click Click. With regard to this competition, the rule is you will have 15 minutes. You basically build and design a piece of decor that you intentionally are going to hang. And then you have 15 minutes to hang it using no more than 3 Click Click magnets. The point is you're not going up on a lift. You're not going up on any of this other stuff. You have no more than 3 magnets, and you have to rig it within 15 minutes, which means there's going to be a timer. And the moment you start, you got to get it up and airborne and everything else and rig it using the Click Click system. Okay. That's the rule. That's in the rules. So there you go. But thank you to our friends at Click Click for that. I also want to share with you that they have also agreed to sponsor the ceiling decor floaty competition. So Click Click is covering your ceilings on both bases. So they're covering the hanging decor competition, and they are joining us now with the floaty award. They have sponsored the ceiling decor competition. So thank you very much for that. So excited that our friends at Click Click are back again. Mia Bartley, Stacy Chase, float convention perks. I'm brand new and I'm just learning about the convention. Mia, thank you for joining us. Glad to have you here tonight. What Stacy is referring to are benefits to those individuals that are part of the Aloft streaming program. If you'll allow me to get through the rest of my presentation, I will be happy to pull that up when we're done and I can go over it for you if that works for you. Okay. So there you go. By the way, if you are a member of Aloft already, most of those perks will be in your email tomorrow morning. If you're not a member of Aloft, then that's different, but there you go. Okay, so there's that. Now, in addition to this whole situation here, if you recall correctly, one of the reasons why I had to go back to Reno is because one of our spaces, one of our Monday soiree, right? The Monday night party, we lost the space in the hotel that it was going to be used in. It was supposed to be taking place in the nightclub, but the nightclub is being closed and demolished. And nobody knew this when, of course, I signed the contract. So we had to find a new place for us to go. And so one of the things that we did was Carla and I went back to view the different options. And one of the options would work, but I didn't want to do it. One of the options I thought would work absolutely was not going to work. But then we were very happy that the option that they proposed actually worked out far better than I ever imagined. So the Monday soiree is now going to be taking place in the Grand Theater at the Grand Sierra Hotel. This is a 1,000 person theater. So the debate right now, and we still haven't finalized this, and we'll probably make the decision this week, but the Monday night soiree is either going to take place on the stage of this massive theater, or it's going to take place in the pit area. So there is an actual, like with most theaters, like concert venues, the first like 7 rows can be pulled out and it would create a pit. And so we could then have the dance portion there. The DJ could be right on top of the stage and we're done. There's pluses and minuses to both. The downside to having the pit is then we've got this whole staffing situation now that we have to address, which kind of makes me mad because, to be honest with you, we shouldn't be in this situation and I shouldn't have to be paying for extra people when the hotel basically is backing up, they're not able to fulfill their end of the contract. So this conversation is not entirely finalized yet, but the location is. It's just whether or not we're going to do it on the stage or in the pit. So I'm trying to find out what those costs are going to be before I make a final decision. However, as I mentioned before, this is going to adjust and change the structure and the pricing of how the decor is going to be done for that evening. But I decided to make things a little simpler. So here's the deal. We are looking, as you remember before, basically the way the nightclub worked, you were going to get the whole nightclub. You're going to be able to decorate inside the nightclub, and then there would be an entrance. Well, the way this space works, there is a gorgeous, luscious lobby that is separate from the rest of the building. It's kind of like, it's like you're going to a concert or you're going to a performance, or you're going to like an elegant performance of some kind. There's this nice, comfortable lobby with a bar in there, and they sell merch and stuff, that kind of thing, that kind of stuff at a concert. Well, the way it works is, so this space is actually next door to the nightclub. So it's the only event that's going to be taking place that is not all within the same vicinity space. But it's closed off. It's glassed in. So it's a completely private space. Because it's glassed in, and there's big glass doors and everything, we decided that doing an entrance decor wasn't going to necessarily work the way we'd probably want it to. So to make things simpler, we created decor for the main theater, and then we created decor for the lobby. So instead of having an entrance and the club sponsorship now there's theater decor, which basically, if you agree to sponsor the Money Soiree theater decor, you get the entire space inside the theater to address. And if you are sponsoring the lobby, you get the entire lobby to decorate. So this is it. Now, as promised, the pricing went up because now this is a much bigger space, right? So the theater pricing stayed the same. So the theater and the club pricing is the same. It's the lobby decor that went up because it's not just an entrance anymore. You're getting a lobby. You're getting a lot of space in there to decorate. So lots of things you can do. Dawn Gertman, good to see you. Cheryl Watts, good to see you as well. Thank you for being here. The website has been updated, by the way. So if you're one of our sponsors and you're interested in seeing the price adjustments, just go to the event decor sponsorship page, and there you go. So there's that. Okay. Now, I did talk about the fact that there's also been an adjustment, a different adjustment in pricing for some of our sponsorships coming up. And this is true. But before we get to that question, here's a question from Elaine. Do you know if all the hotel rooms will be all remodeled in January, or is there going to be construction going on around the hotel that will make it difficult to get around? Did the hotel update you? Yes. So it is my understanding that all of the rooms that we will be used in our block will be renovated. It is also, the convention space that I was in, that we have booked, the main drag section has been renovated. That's already done. In fact, when I walked in, it's so funny because I was telling Carl about, oh my God, and it's great because it's even orange and all this other stuff. And then I walk in and now it's all blue. I'm like, but it's fine. So yeah, a lot of that's already been done. It's not finished, but like they have to install chandeliers. I think they're going to change some carpeting, and that's about it to the convention space that I'm aware of. So there's that. But I believe that's it. And I was under the impression that any hotel rooms that are being renovated, if there are any that are being renovated, those will get ones that are done. So there's that. And keep in mind, they have 2,000 rooms in the building. So there's all that. Good question. Tabitha Miller, good to see you. One of our fabulous instructors headed to float. By the way, Tabitha, you and I need to have a conversation about your registration because you paid to come and now you're teaching. So we got to figure out how you're going to work that. Okay. Yes, I know, Sherry. They took the orange away. And They took away the orange coats that the security team was wearing. Believe it or not, this hotel, their security team wore orange jackets. And I went, oh my God, it's like we were destined to be here. And now they're all like this khaki brown, like whatever, not the same. But yeah, so there we go. Okay, so I talked about the fact that some of the sponsorship pricing actually went down, and that is true. If you are familiar with the sponsorship packet, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, allow me to share with you. That's right. It is the DJ, KJ sponsorships and the photo booth sponsorships. So the pricing that was initially listed in the sponsorship packet was pricing based on superficial website information that we had gotten for various hosts in the area. So we didn't want to underquote it, because if we got stuck paying those prices, we didn't want to get shorted, right? So we listed the prices, what they were in the sponsorship packet for that. Well, it just so happens that we did all of our research. We put our bids out. We did everything else. We had 3 different companies in the end that were bidding on the event. And one company turned around and said, you know what? You guys are an event. You're offering us 3 different dates in 1 week in January. We're lucky if we get 1 date in January. So here's a bulk rate. And so they gave us a bulk rate for all 3 nights, as well as for photo booth rentals and those kind of things. So I'm happy to share that the sponsorship pricing on the KJ for Club Latex, the DJ for the Monday Night Soiree, and the DJ for the Designer Awards Gala have all come down. And in addition, the photo booth sponsorship also at the gala and has also come down, and it's come down to the point to where it could be also hosted other evenings as well. So there's that. So for those of you out there, if you're interested in sponsoring one of those things, I will say this though. As of right now, the DJ sponsorship for the Designer Awards Gala is technically claimed. I do have a sponsor. I can't talk about them tonight because the details are still being finalized. But we do have a sponsor that has agreed to cover the DJ for the Designer Awards Gala. It is my hope that by this time next week, I can share with you who that's going to be. But for right now, I can't. I hope you'll understand that way. So in other words, right now, as of right now, the karaoke sponsorship for Saturday night and the DJ sponsorship for Monday night are still available if anybody's interested in sponsoring that. And then, like I said, we could also pick up photo booths for any of the nights that we're having these events, or just in general. If you want to sponsor one and just have it, we could do that too. Because again, the price has come down dramatically from what we were initially expecting. So that's number 1. But that's not all. So when we created the sponsorship packet in the first place, we knew that Murphy, dude, we're not going home yet, please. When we created the sponsorship packet, we knew that it was going to be an evolving document, so to speak. We knew that there would be things added on later. Some of the stuff, I mean, one of the biggest items was still up for debate and up for discussion when we were doing all this. And the question was going to be, how is this going to be addressed? Who's going to do it? What have you? I am, of course, talking about the float tote bags. The float tote bags, many of you noticed, how come the tote bags weren't in the packet? They weren't in the packet because we didn't know at the time how this was going to be addressed. Well, now we do. And so later, at some point in the next 24 to 48 hours, the tote bag sponsorship is going to be added to the float to the general sponsorship section of the float stuff. So again, if you're one of our sponsors, or if you're thinking about being a sponsor and you want an opportunity to have your logo on every single bag at float, and I don't mean the float logo like you see here. This is a bad example, but you see what I'm saying? I was trying to find a good picture with people holding a bag. If you're interested in having your company logo on all the bags that are given out to all the people coming to float, that'll be available within the next 24 to 48 hours. Liliana, good to see you. Thank you for being here. So we will have that updated soon. We will be doing an e-blast, by the way, for our sponsors and vendors when that goes out. Okay, when that's been updated. But that's not all. There is another exciting opportunity that we've never had before. And again, this is one that I've been trying to get answers on for weeks, if not months. One of the things that a lot of the sponsors have been asking about is they wanted we want to be the first ones to grab them. We want to grab their attention before anybody else does. And one of the very first things to go was the hallway sponsorship. There's a 215-foot hallway that leads from the casino area into the convention space. And our friends at Metallic grabbed that like instantly. Because that's the first line that we're allowed to promote. That's where we're allowed. We're not allowed to do anything else in the rest of the building. It's all got to be from there on. It just so happens that you could even get in front of that now. Through our connections with the Reno Convention and Visitors Bureau, we have secured a 10-foot by 12-foot space at Reno International Airport, just outside the baggage claim area. Literally every person getting off a plane will be walking past this spot at the airport. And one lucky company, whoever that's going to be, has the ability to sponsor that space. We will be securing the space tomorrow. We got the pricing of they sent everything to us. We're going to be locking it in tomorrow. The way it works, and see, there's some details. That's why we have to get this worked out. They've said you get it for a week at a time. I need to make sure we can pick the starting date and the end date, not their random week. That's what we got to figure out. So with that being said, you can literally get off the plane and be welcomed at float. And I'm telling you right now, even if nobody sponsors it, then float's going to do it. But I guarantee you somebody's going to want to sponsor this. So there you go. Again, all of this has to be finalized. I had a very superficial conversation on Friday with the airport. And I also want to be very clear. If you do want to sponsor this, if you are a company that's interested in sponsoring this, Float will provide you with a backdrop. We will provide you. Now it's going to be our backdrop. So if you want a custom one, that's going to be on you, right? And when I say, what I mean by that is, you know how you take the skin, like the nylon skin that goes around a thing. That's what I'm talking about. If you don't want to supply it yourself, Float will supply one, but we're going to control what it is. You can still have your signage and everything there, but Float's going to control what that is, unless you want to do your own backdrop, and then you're more than happy to do that. But Float will also provide you with the hardware that you need, like base plates, conduit, all that stuff. You need that. It's all part of the sponsorship. Okay. So obviously you'll be doing it and all that fun stuff here. That seems like it. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. So there's that. So those details will also be coming within the next, I would say, 48 to 72 hours, which is why we may not do the e-blast till later on in the week. Let's get everything updated and all that fun stuff at one time. So yeah. So there's that. So lots of new opportunities. Well, and believe it or not, I know there's more coming. I just don't know what yet. If you are interested in sponsoring Float in some capacity, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to get you some information. It is now time to share with you some new faces that are coming to the vendor showcase. But before we do that, Sherry Hatcher, I'm surprised they aren't letting us decorate the entrance as you walk in the doors of the hotel. There's a huge Christmas display there when I went. Yes, but that Christmas display was courtesy of the hotel. There on this last trip out, there was actually a conversation from our sales manager, like, oh, by the way, did you want to do something, blah, blah, blah. And I went, you guys said we couldn't. So there might be more coming. I don't know. So yeah, we'll find out. But anyway, I digress. So now we're back to the vendor showcase. Folks, we got some new folks coming to the vendor showcase. We have a familiar product that you're aware of, but it'll be their first time coming, and a brand new product you've never probably heard of. So folks, let's start things off by welcoming our friends from Babaloon. Babaloon, if you were paying attention earlier this week, you saw this photograph that I posted in the main group. That's our good friend Jeremy Johnston, the founder of Pops Trading Cards, along with Jay and Will, I believe, if I remember correctly, the owners and people that run Babaloon. Babaloon is actually a manufacturer of balloons, both latex and foil, and they will be joining us for the very first time coming to Float. They got themselves a nice double booth. They're going to be coming to the show, and I'm thrilled to share with you that Babaloon also sponsored our t-shirts this year. So we've got 3 of the 4 sponsors on the back of the shirts already done. So thank you very much to our friends at Babaloon for joining us. So a brand new balloon manufacturer headed their way to Float 2026. And on top of that, this is a first. This company has been represented at Float before, but they've never, ever, ever had a booth. And I, for one, am very excited that they do this year. Our friends at Aeropole are going to be joining us for the very first time as vendors in the vendor showcase, everybody. So for those of you that want to learn more about this fabulous system, you'll get the chance to actually meet the folks that run Aeropole. I do not know if Treb is coming or not. Treb, of course, is one of the people behind it. I don't know if Treb is coming. But I mean, so far, the Bill is the only one that's signed up so far. But then again, it's still way too early. But yeah, our friends at Aeropole are coming, so we're very excited about that too. Like I said, this is a first. Very, very happy about that. I do want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that we currently have a contest going on with our favorite faculty contest. You get $50 off your registration to Float if you sign up before the end of this month, before August 30th, and use the coupon code that is affiliated with your favorite instructor coming to the convention. Those names, by the way, in the Float Facebook group, not this page, but the group, the Float Facebook group, there's a pin at the top of the page with all of the different memes and all the different codes in them. So you just go in there and pick which teacher you want to support in the contest, sign up using that coupon code, and you will get $50 off your registration to the convention. But you must use that coupon code by August 30th. Please remember, that is in the middle of the Labor Day weekend. Do not get distracted. Do not roll around on Tuesday and say, hey, how come my coupon code's not working? Because it's September 2nd now, or September 3rd, or whatever date that's going to be. So it's not going to count anymore. So make sure you sign up before August 30th. We will, of course, be going over all those coupon codes again in an upcoming week. We're just not going to do it today. Now, this is something that I want to share with everybody, because this is something brand new to Float this year that everybody needs to know about. Because I don't want anybody screaming at me, and I don't want anybody yelling at me, and I don't want anybody making demands of me. If you ship anything to the hotel. It doesn't matter if you are competing at float and you are shipping boxes of stuff to yourself. If you are an instructor at float and you screw up and you forget to get something, you ship it to yourself, right? To the hotel. If you forgot to get something, if you need a flowered shirt or you need a costume or you forgot your tie and you order something on Amazon and send it to the hotel, you will have to pick up your shipment from the business center in the hotel. And with the business center means you will have to pay a receiving fee. Let me repeat that. If you ship anything to the hotel, it doesn't matter what it is. If you ship anything to the hotel, it is directly taken to the business center, and the business center will charge you a fee to receive it. That fee, if the package is under 50 pounds, that fee can be as much as $25 per package. If it's now, I'm not saying it will be 25. I'm saying it can be up to $25 per package. It breaks down to weight. If your package is over 50 pounds, they are literally charging you $1 a pound. Please do not come to me asking me to try to get an exception made for you because I can't do it. The business center is an outside entity. They rent space there for this purpose. Okay. It's like a UPS center. It's like a FedEx center. It's just independent. It's an independent business operation. And part of the deal is they get to control that. This is no different than if you ever attended, say, the International Balloon Convention, the Qualitex events, right? If you ever attended one of those and shipped anything to yourself, those conventions, you always had to pay to get your stuff out of shipping. Do not, by the way, don't try to backdoor it either. Don't send it to float. Don't think I'm going to eat it because I'm going to take one look at it and go, I don't know what this is. So we're not paying for your stuff. So guys, if you are, I'm paying for enough, believe me. If you're shipping anything to the convention, you need to know going in that you will have to pay. So yes, Amazon gives free shipping. Well, the hotel doesn't give free receiving. Okay? That's something to keep in mind. So there you go. We will remind you of this multiple times as we get closer to the event. All right, well, let's talk about Aloft. As we've already talked, our class is coming up this coming Tuesday, but just about 2 weeks ago, we had a fabulous class with the one and only Dawn Gertman. And folks, I am thrilled to share with you that Dawn's video is completed and has been sent to the web guys to upload it into the system, which means that sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours, you should be able to have access to Dawn's incredible class, Inflation plus Floral equals Fabulous, with the one and only Dawn Gertman. So the class is edited down. It is done. It has been sent in. And now it's just a matter of time before you get to watch it until the cows come home, all through your membership to Aloft. So there you go. Thank you, Dawn. Once again, we appreciate you. We love you very much. We loved the class. It was great. And we really thank you. Also, I didn't get a chance to talk about this last week because I was too busy being distracted in Vegas, but episode 25 of the Rubber Bubble podcast is officially online and ready for you to listen to. Again, this for our members of Aloft Streaming. Episode 25, it's not you, it's me. This one is about when's a good time to fire a client. That's what my topic is of conversation in this particular episode of the Rubber Bubble podcast. Again, this is an exclusive benefit only to Aloft members. So for those of you that would like to listen, the episode is online and available now. Thank you very much for your continued support of Aloft Streaming. Mia, by the way, I didn't forget. Like I said, once I get through the rest of the slideshow, we'll go back and talk about the other thing about the benefit thing. Okay. Now let's get to our more street level Floativerse content. And at this point, let's talk about the Step Chat survey. Hold on. Dina, were you aware that on the Orange Store, both Dawn and the next class both listed with the same name? No, I was not. They must have copied and pasted and interesting. No, Dina, I did not say that. Thank you very much for bringing that out. So Dina pointed out that and actually we got to get Dawn's class removed too, because that's not supposed to be there anymore either. Thank you. I'll get that addressed first thing in the morning. Actually, I'll probably get it addressed tonight, and hopefully they can have it done by first thing in the morning. But basically, if you're interested in signing up for Jesse's class, you want to click on Jesse's picture, obviously. So there's that. Because Dawn's class is over and you can't access it anymore anyway. So there you go. And actually, if you try to go to the actual class itself, I'm pretty sure it's closed. So there's that. Okay. So normally every Sunday we do a Step Chat survey now. We start doing this fun little survey every Sunday in the Float Facebook group. But there's one snag. We did one last Sunday because I had every intention of doing a fairly regular show. And then, of course, everything was side railed by the fact that I was in Las Vegas and I just didn't want to work that hard. Which means this week, we don't have one result to talk about, but we have two results to talk about. So last week's survey, the question was, when it comes to choosing your flights, when you travel to attend a convention or a conference or whatever, what is your priority when it comes to selecting the flights? Is it strictly price? Is it the number of flights? Do you try to do direct flights versus multiple flights? Is it the time of day? Do you have an alliance to a particular airline, or is it something else? And I'm thrilled to share with everybody that the overwhelming response that was given to everybody was that people tend to choose direct flights whenever possible, even if it means a higher ticket price. And I will also tell you that I am in that same boat. I would much rather fly, especially with checked bags. There is nothing that is worse than getting to your destination and your checked bag is not there. Now, while it is true that there's no guarantee that your bag is going to make your actual flight anyway, your chances are much better, right? That it's going to be on your plane, and rather than you trying to make a flip and then, oh God, did my bag get on the next plane? So yeah, that's for me. I personally prefer to fly directly. I just want to get in and get out and be done with it. I know that some people talked about, I wasn't surprised that the second reason was airline brand loyalty, because people earn points, and that's also for me too, but direct was more important for me. I will say that if the pricing is fairly close, then I go with airline loyalty. Right. I personally prefer to fly Alaska Airlines whenever possible. I just like it. But there's also times when Alaska Airlines is really expensive. Like, for example, when I fly to visit my family in Texas, I can't fly Alaska the whole way there because Alaska has a part. They don't fly from Dallas or Houston, for that matter, to Lubbock. Only a couple of airlines do. So what they do is they have a partnership with American. Well, the problem is they charge me to fly to Dallas or to Houston, whatever it is, and then Dallas mostly. And then American will charge them, and then they charge me on top of that. So a lot of times what I'll do in that case is I'll buy a direct ticket. I'll buy a one-way ticket to Dallas. I'll buy a one-way ticket from Dallas to Lubbock, and then do the same thing back. Or I'll buy a round trip ticket from Dallas to Lubbock and back again, and then I'll buy another single ticket going back so I can switch back to my regular airline and get more points, right? Get my miles. But I did hear somewhere, and this is something to think about. I did hear somewhere that apparently people are now using AI to find like the absolute cheapest airline flights out there. Like, people are using AI now to get the best deals possible. They're not just going to Kayak or Travelocity or sites like that. They're using AI to pull all kinds of weird stuff, and they're finding bizarre things. But somebody just talked about the fact that they just flew to Europe for $110 using AI. Now, I'm sure that's the exception and not the rule, but something to think about moving forward when it comes to planning your trip to float. So there we go. Now, that was last week. Today, we asked another question in the Step Chat survey. Today's question was, if you're at an event, if you're at a convention, or if you're at a conference or whatever, and you decide to skip a class, what would be the biggest reason why you would skip a class? Why would you not go to a class session? I will admit, when I go to conferences now and I go to conventions now, I tend to skip most classes. I have a tendency to really only go to like one or two classes when I'm at a conference or a convention now. But a lot of it has to do with the fact too that 9 times out of 10, I'm also involved in meetings with sponsors. I'm involved with teacher conferences or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, in that regard, I'm not always there to attend the event. I'm there more as Steve from Float rather than Steve from Balloon Designers. So there's that. But here are the results that we got from you guys. The number one reason, and I saw this one coming. I saw this one coming. The number one reason was sleeping in. The 8 o'clock classes are always the ones that people, especially on the second day. First day of the convention, people don't really have a problem getting to the 8 o'clock classes. But by the second day, yeah, a lot of people sleep in and skip that 8 o'clock session. Whether it's from too much partying or just staying up late talking to everybody or whatever, there you go. I was kind of surprised to see 32% of the respondents said not interested in any of the classes offered. But I also think that it's important to remember that this has something to do with, I didn't take this as a personal thing about Float, because you have to remember, Float is a rarity. Float is offering, like I said, we have as many as 11 classes going on at one time this year. Some events have 2. Some have 1. Like there's some conferences and some events that only featured 1 class at a time. So if there's no selection and you're like, I'm not going to take this class, well, then that does make sense why you would skip it. So there's that. I know that I was surprised that people even chose sick and unwell. I know that, I hate to say it, but a lot of people have absolutely gone to class sick as a dog because I came all the way here. I don't want to miss this. Well, thank you. You're now typhoid marrying all over the place, but there you go. One of the reasons that was given, by the way, I thought this was pretty good. Kathy Buell shared her other reason not listed here was that she just sometimes gets overwhelmed by people. And she's like, I need a break. I need to disconnect myself from so many people and go just be alone for a while. So I thought that was cool. So that was good too. So yeah, thank you all very much to everybody who took the time to respond to our survey questions. I do want to remind each and every one of you that if you are attending Float 2026, you are eligible to be a member of the Float Forum. The Float Forum is a private Facebook group exclusively for those attending the event. Also keep in mind, if you have to cancel your registration to Float, you are removed from the Float Forum. We had to do that. It broke my heart yesterday to do it to somebody. They were very active but they had to cancel. And unfortunately I had to remove them from the Float Forum. But yeah, so it is a thing. The great thing about the Float Forum, there's only a couple hundred people in there, but they are hardcore people that know what the hell they're talking about. So unlike posting in other groups where you may get 100 responses to your question from 97 people that don't know anything about the topic that you're asking, you may only get 3 or 4 responses in this group, but you get solid answers from people that know what they're talking about. So remember, once you join, make sure you join the Float Forum as well. But you can't join, you're not accepted in the group until you register for Float. Also want to remind everybody that if you are looking for a roommate for Float 2026, we have a post pinned to the top of the Float group. People there can comment and looking for roommates. In fact, I know for a fact that somebody just posted the other day, a guy looking for a roommate for the convention. So there we go. So look for that in the Float group and the pin will be there. By the way, I also forgot to mention earlier, Dina was kind enough to post the link to the coupon codes that I posted and pinned at the top of the group. So thank you for that, Dina. That is in the Facebook. So she posted that here on the Facebook chat. So thank you very much for doing that, Dina. Once again, I want to remind everybody that Float is on YouTube at youtube.com/@thefloativerse. We ask that if you are active on YouTube to please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share that stuff, and help us get our content noticed. We would really, really appreciate it. With that being said, let's also talk about the schedule for this week. As you know, we're doing the live broadcast right here. The full episode of tonight's broadcast will be uploaded to YouTube tomorrow on Monday, and then the summary version, the Step Chat summary, the abbreviated version of tonight's chat, will be uploaded on Tuesday. Elaine, you are just full of questions tonight. How many people are currently registered for Float? Just over 300 people are registered to attend the event. That does not include sponsors, vendors, or staff, or teachers. So there we go. So right now, if we had to estimate based upon the sponsorship levels, staff, and teaching, I would say there's roughly 500 people currently attending the convention. So there we go. All right. And finally, Fit for Float. If you're looking to drop some weight and look a little skinnier and wow some people when you get to Reno, our good friend Lisa McIntyre runs this Facebook group, and you are welcome to join. She hosts weigh-in Wednesdays where you're not expected to share the weigh-in. You're just, if you want to, you can. If not, don't do it. But it's a great little way for people to kind of connect with each other and drop some pounds and get in better shape for the convention. If that's something you're interested in, reach out to Lisa McIntyre. She'd be happy to help you, or look for Fit for Float on Facebook. There we go. And with that, everybody, that will do it for tonight's episode of Step Chat. Oops. How did I do that? There we what the hell? Hold on. I hit the wrong button, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, really quickly, Mia had asked a question earlier, and I'm looking to see if that slide is still. It is. There we go. So let's put that up here so I can pull it up for everybody. I've been smart enough lately to keep some of the other slides rather than delete them out, so that way I could access them in a situation like this. So Mia had asked a question about what perks are available to those individuals that are members of a loft. Mind you, this slide is actually not current. There are some new stuff that's being added. Okay. We'll be updating that soon, but here we go. So the first thing to keep in mind is, as a member of a loft, you do get VIP access, early access into the vendor showcase on Sunday. The vendor showcase is scheduled to open at 11 a.m. on Sunday, January 25th. However, all of our flotation pass holders and all of our Aloft streaming members will be allowed to enter the vendor showcase starting at 9 a.m. That means you get a 2-hour head start in front of everybody else to get to your favorite vendors, to see new products, and do that before the crowd comes in and gets crowded. And remember, folks, we have weekend passes this year. This is the first. Oh, we're not. Oh, you're right. You're not seeing me, are you? Here we go again. What's up with that? This is not the first time this has happened. Hold on. Oh, I know why. That's my fault. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I realized what I did wrong. Hold on, bear with me. Sorry about that. Let's get back to this again. My apologies, everybody. There we go. That should do it now. Okay. So I do apologize. Thank you, Laurel, for pointing that out. So the VIP access, like I said, you get 2 hours before everybody else. And that will allow you the opportunity to get in there. And as I was saying, we have weekend passes this year, which means we are expecting a much bigger turnout on Sunday. Okay. Because the weekend pass holders, the only day they can get in to the vendor showcase is Sunday. So you want a nice little jump start on everybody else, you get in at 9 o'clock. You will also receive 24-hour advanced access to general class registration. What does that mean? The general classes are going to go up. I can't remember the exact date. I don't remember the exact date, but it's about 2 weeks before the convention. And I believe it's on a Friday. The Thursday prior to Friday, so the day before, If you are a member of Aloft Streaming, you will get to log in early and sign up for your classes before the general masses do. Okay, so that is an incredible benefit. Now, again, if you are a flotation pass holder, and that's coming in September, if you are a flotation pass holder, you will get 2 days early access. So you will actually get to start signing up on Wednesday. But if you are just a general member of Aloft, you'll get sign up on Thursday. And that is still tremendously ahead of the rest of the pack. The vast majority of people will not be able to pick their classes until Friday. And remember, some classes are expected to sell out. This way, you are guaranteeing yourself access to the classes you want. Think of it like the A group on Southwest Airlines. You know, with the A group, there's a good chance you're going to get the seat you want. There's a good chance you're going to have overhead compartment space. It's that kind of thing. Okay. Elaine, I'm going to get to that in just a second. Another benefit exclusively to Aloft members only. To Aloft members only. You will have an express lane for check-in at the float registration desk. If you are a member of Aloft, there will be a separate line just for you. No waiting in the big lines. You get to go in the shorter line. So there we go. Not that it's a huge, not that it takes forever, but it's a nice courtesy benefit for you. So, and flotation pass holders will not have this benefit at the convention. Strictly Aloft members will have this benefit. Sherry, I'm going to get to that in a minute. Reserve seating at the Designer Awards Gala. If you are a member of Aloft, you get to reserve your seat in advance. You do not have to go into the general seating for the gala. This means that you get to hand select of the available seats, right? You get to go in and pick a seat. You do not get to pick a secondary seat. If you are a flotation pass holder, you will be allowed to reserve 2 seats. You'll be allowed to reserve your own and someone else's. However, you don't get a bonus seat. In other words, if you're a flotation pass holder and an Aloft member, no, you don't get to reserve 3 seats. Bottom line is you get to use the better of the benefits. So if you decide to buy a flotation pass and you're an Aloft member, then you get 2 seats. If you're not a flotation pass holder, no problem. You still get to reserve your own seat. So what I would recommend is if you have a bunch of friends and stuff together and you kind of want to figure out who's going to sit where, I would coordinate with everybody and see if you can do it in advance. Mind you, we also have the opportunity this year of table sponsorships, which we're going to talk about as we get later on in the mix. But that's down the road. And then finally, a 10% discount on all float merchandise, either leading up to the convention or at the convention itself. So yeah, any bonus t-shirts you want to buy, any hats, any mugs, any of the float merchandise at all, the hoodies, any of that stuff, Aloft members will receive a 10% discount on all of our float merchandise, period. There are other benefits as well. The headshot benefit is still being worked out. As you all know, we have this year for at least one day, we will have a professional photographer there providing headshots. Again, we're still waiting to see how the sponsorship works out. If we do not get any sponsorships, then the flotation pass holders will have first dibs, and then Aloft members will have the ability to make a reservation at a discounted price. But the first dibs, of course, are free. So the flotation pass holders will receive a free headshot courtesy of Float. Aloft members, whatever the final fee will be, Aloft members will get a 50% discount on that price, and then anybody else will have to pay full price. So there's that. But again, we won't have these details until much closer to the event. Is it the same photographer from last year? He was great. No, this is a different photographer. Mike Nakamura Kevin will still be there. Well, Kevin is still coming to Float, but Kevin can't spend all day doing headshots. Mike Nakamura is a professional headshot photographer here in Seattle. He is a preferred photographer for Microsoft, and he is going to be traveling to Float to handle that. Like I said, so far we have him confirmed for at least one day at the event. So we're waiting to find out if he gets picked up by other sponsors as well. Then we'll have to figure out then at that point how this all works out. But either way, there we go. All right, Elaine asked a question. Do Aloft members get first access to purchase a flotation pass? No, because this year we're not necessarily, I don't think we're going to have to limit the number of flotation passes this year. Let me get out of this now that we're done with this. That was one of the reasons why we had to limit flotation passes in the past has been because of space, right? And because of benefits and that kind of thing. This year, we don't have that same problem. I'm also going to tell you, I don't know, again, we haven't shared this yet. We don't know the exact price on it, but it's going to be a lot more than the previous years. Remember, the flotation pass this year includes 3 lunch and learns with lunch provided. It includes the free headshots. It includes a bonus day of it includes the Thursday master classes as well, right? There's a lot of stuff this year. So yeah, it's not going to be the same price as it was last year. It's going up considerably. So I don't necessarily think that we're going to have as many people fighting this time because the price is going up significantly for the flotation pass. So there we go. Sherry asked a question, are you using an app like Sked? Yes, but we went and purchased the app. So we are using Sked, but Sked offers, you can either use Sked, so then you have to download the Sked app and log in to your event. What we did is we upgraded that, and we'll have our own Float app. So you will actually go to the App Store and download the Float app, which we're excited about. And it's our plan to use that app moving forward all the time. We'll use it for Fulcrum. We'll use it for a loft streaming. We'll use it for that other event we're talking about having that I haven't talked about yet. So yeah, so there's all that fun stuff. So there we go. So the plan is not just to use the app for the convention. The plan is to use the app as part of the Floativerse ongoing from this point forward. So there we go. Okay, I think I got all the questions that I saw in the comments. So yeah, so I can hang out for a few more minutes here and see what's going on. Lisa McIntyre, super excited for the app. So am I. It's going to be a lot of work though. They were starting to freak out a little bit because I had actually assigned somebody to start working on the app, and that was a month and a half ago. And I found out the other day that it hadn't been started yet. So guess who is starting the app? So there's that. So yeah, is what it is. So there we go. So yeah, if anybody's got any more questions for me, please by all means throw them in the chat. I am more than happy to address what I can. But as you can see, this has been a very busy week in the Floativerse. Like I said, we will have, it's my hope that we'll have at least another new sponsor and new vendor to talk about next week. There's been a lot of activity, actually. We've had quite a bit of, there's been some behind the scenes, like more and more people are starting to pay attention, right? We're starting to get some more conversation from people that, haven't necessarily been at Float before. So yeah, but I do want to remind everybody that the $50 coupon code contest officially ends at the end of this month. The last day is August 30th. So if you want to save $50 off the registration, you should definitely sign up before then. And then, of course, keep in mind the Float registration price goes up another $100 on October 1st. It's right now it's $695 for U.S. domestic attendees. If you want to save $50 off that, use the coupon code and get signed up before the end of this month. If you don't sign up before the end of this month, the $695 price point goes away October 1st. Then it goes to $795. So make sure you get signed up when you can. That's all I got to say. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I guess that'll do it for tonight. Thank you all very much for joining me once again. I really appreciate it. Good to be back here at the Floatress of Solitude. And you know what? We haven't seen. Come here. Look, you've been driving me nuts for the last half hour. Come on. Look who it is. It's Mr. Murphy. Yes, it is. Good to see you. And I guess Dina's dog tried to lick me through the screen. So thank you, Dina. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Here we go. So yeah. For those of you wondering, no, Murphy will not be at Float. He's way too needy. He will not be at the convention. But that does remind me that I need to get his babysitter locked down, lay down, or lined up. So I was trying to say, you need to get his babysitter lined up before things get away from here. So there's that. So yeah, other than that, that's about it. Okay, guys. Well, thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time right here on the step. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Yeah.